Stellar Award nominated artist.
Oh,
from
look
right
at him.
here,
There he is.
NCCU Eagle, right here in the building, Mr. Marcus Anderson. Welcome to the show, Marcus.
morning.
How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How about you guys? How you feeling?
Doing great.
Absolutely great. Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to have you on. Marcus, congratulations being a 2023 Salute the Champions Award recipient. And it is a pleasure to have you on because, you know, we see you all the time. I see you all the time. I see all the hard work you're doing. But I want to just start with being a graduate of NCCU and being where you are now, performing, being a Grammy, a Stellar Award nominee, and all the great things that are happening. Did you see yourself on this journey, on this path when you left North Carolina Central University?
I sort of did, but not at this age. I'm 38. I thought I'd still be like, out on tour. And I'm still touring, but I didn't think it would be, so many things piled on top of like touring, like having a coffee and then having, going back to NCCU,
Yes.
doing, having my own festival. I was like, I'll probably have it around 45.
Yeah.
I'm 38 now, and like a lot of this started like in my early 30s, and it was a rough start at first because it was a lot of driving to places, sleeping in your car, sleeping on people's couches, and go to a room. I got my first hotel room somebody supplied for me. I was like, I made it. They just got me a hotel room, and I'm in my mind.
No,
thinking,
that's real.
I have arrived.
That's real.
You said first to check, then get a hotel room.
That's real. We're talking the 2023 recipient Salute the Champions Award. Of course, Marcus Anderson, and we recognize individuals who've done great work in their own fields, but more importantly, have inspired others to do the same. Let's go back and even before then, Fort Central. How did Marcus become Marcus? Was he at an early age? Did he always wanted to be into music, or did it happen by parents just forced him to do it? How did all this come together?
Man, all of it really just kind of stems from my mom and dad, my parents. They were incredible motivators, and like they put it in our mind early that it was nothing that we couldn't do. And it wasn't just for me. It's like all of my siblings are doing amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that we just knew growing up. They let us run with our imagination, and an imagination, can't be boxed in. It's like, it's limitless. Knowledge is like, I feel like there's limits to like how much knowledge you can learn, but imagination is what knowledge comes from, the creativity. So what they did, they nurtured our imagination to be able to go as far as our brains can take us. Because my dad, he owned his own business. My mom, she worked from home and took care of us, but she still like created plays and like wrote stories and stuff like that. And so it really just started like those little bit of seeds kind of grew into what you see today.
Wow.
Awesome. We're talking to Marcus Anderson, class of 2023, Salute the Champions. That's a good segue into what you're doing. One of the things that you're doing now and how you're impacting the community and giving back to your school, which is North Carolina Central University.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about this LEAP program and what you're doing?
Yeah, so the LEAP program, and LEAP basically stands for Leadership in the Entertainment and Arts Program. And we basically are taking all the experience that I've had on the road and we put it into a curriculum that students can learn. I've taken my experiences, my thoughts, some shortcuts to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, focus on this, focus on that, and how to stay relevant within the entertainment industry. And it's not just centered around music, it's centered around business, it's centered around anything in production, anything in music. It's a whole collective of anything that has to do with the entertainment business and then or industry. And then we have a couple of subject matter expert celebrities that are coming in that are going to help give their experience and their perspective on how they leaped into their career. And this week we have Tommy Davidson coming in on Thursday at the new Student Center in North Carolina Central. And he's going to be there at the 1040 break. And that's free and that's open to the public. So anybody can come, anybody can show up to hear his story, from comedy to acting to him being, on the Proud Family, him being a father on that. It's like he has a whole list of things. So LEAP is pretty much, that. And everybody already knows we got Sheila E. coming in. So we're excited about Sheila E.
Yeah, that's exciting.
In March. Yeah. And we got a bunch of different artists and people that are come in and just give their perspective and their expertise on the music industry.
That's awesome.
Outstanding. We're talking with Marcus Anderson, an NTCU Eagle, but more importantly, a Stellar and Grammy Award nominee, and a 2023 Salute to Champions recipient, and renowned jazz artist. I would just say artist because look, you cross any genre you want to.
Right.
He does it all.
Gospel.
Everything.
R&B.
But you play with some of the great names that we all are familiar with, like a Stevie Wonder, CeeLo Green, Layla Hathaway. Brian Culberson,
Prince.
I was gonna say, I was curious about why you left Prince off because you told us some great stories about being with Prince, and I just found it absolutely amazing, being in there because I had actually had an opportunity to tour his home and just being in there, just understanding a little bit more about how he is. I couldn't even imagine touring with him. I bet it'd be insane. But the question I wanted to ask you was, when is it that leaving North Carolina Central, when is it that you, being on one of those stages, you say to yourself, you know what, this kid from the Carolinas went to North Carolina Central, I belong here, and, I could be here?
Mm-hmm. Man, I think it kind of started when I was on campus and when I was in school and the things that I was doing in school.
I like that.
I started kind of working on it there. Like the people that I met, I was networking my butt off as much as I could because I knew that like getting an education was one thing, but the second thing was I needed to have associations with people. So during school, I was just, it was nothing for me to go to Atlanta on a weekend and come back for class on Monday in DC and ask, hey, doc, can I get Friday off? I got to go to LA. I was a negotiator, when it came to stuff. So it started that feeling of feeling like, oh man, I could do this. I can arrive. It started when I was in school, and it's a great feeling to know, like, oh man, like I'm in the groove. I can feel it. I'm doing things. I'm making right decisions.
That's amazing. Great segue to my question. I ask most of the recipients this question. Give me 2 or 3 people that, outside your parents, obviously, but that you can say, these individuals are primary or somewhat responsible for where I am right now.
The first one I'll start with outside of my parents is my older brother Alpheus.
Yeah.
He let me follow him around and be his shadow, even if it was just to go to play at weddings and stuff. And he was around a lot of mature musicians, and they helped nurture and grow my gift. Second person would probably be my middle school band director, Mr. Entrican. He let us like if the band room was like our gym and our basketball court, he let us work out whatever we needed to earlier on in our years. And then when I got to college, Dr. Ira Wiggins.
Yes.
And when I got to Central, it was Dr. Ira Wiggins.
Yes.
And both him and Branford gave me great perspectives on like the industry.
Wait a minute. So first one, let's back up. He dropped Dr. Wiggins and Branford myself those names. You just dropping those names. I mean, I might know you wrote with Prince and all, but you gotta give us a chance to absorb those names, brother. You just dropped.
Branford and I, we were sitting around and we were talking about.
I know.
I mean, yeah.
It is what it is.
That's the experience. I love it.
I'm not, just name dropping.
No, yeah, I know.
And then when I got to Central, I was Nick Cannon. Like a lot of people don't know this. I could barely read music. Like I faked it really good for a long time. Like I had a really good ear, and it was nothing for me to hear it and pick it up. To me, it was like, oh, this stuff is easy. I'll just have somebody else play it before me. Then I'll go first.
That's talent.
And then that's how I skated, through school. And like my high school band director finally learned and picked up on it. And then when I finally had the audition for Central, I went and got lessons. I got theory lessons for like 3 months and really like learned all this stuff. And then I got into Central. So I was a quick learner when it came to that. But then when I got to North Carolina Central, Dr. Wiggins broke everything down for me. It was like, all right, this is what we do. We went to basic fundamentals of like how to read. And I was like, I felt like I was in middle school again. But that's just, I leaned on my strength, which was my ear, instead of strengthening, the things that I didn't really want to, which was like my reading of music. But like after I got with Dr. Wiggins and Branford, it's like in a semester, I was already up here. I was already soaring. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's an amazing story, right?
Wow.
That's amazing.
You know what? The more every year we talk to each one of the recipients,
Yep.
and we learn something, and it's
That's
something
amazing.
that always kind of
Absolutely.
stands out.
Yeah.
So that leads me to probably the next question for me. What's probably been your most challenging moment throughout your ascension and throughout your progression in your musical career that you really had to push through and say, you know what, if I'm gonna make it, I got to push through this.
Man, I think just really being a dad, being a parent, you know,
Oh hell, we all have
trying
That.
balancing that piece off, man, of like, man, I really gotta go and do these shows, and I gotta come home and have enough energy for my girls, and I gotta plan these summer trips and
Yeah.
holiday trips and stuff, and still saving enough energy and giving enough focus to them, and really making sure that I'm not letting the years fly by, because I remember when they were 4 and 5, and now they're 12 and 15. So I'm like the years go by fast, and like my 15, she'll be out of the house, and she'll be in college, by
wow.
17, 18 years old. So I'm like, it's balancing like all of that. So I think that's probably the hardest part. The music, the career, and learning, all that was easy to me. But like, all right, coming home and having normalcy at home, that's probably been the most challenging.
Great
Outstanding.
stuff,
That
man.
is good. Good.
Outstanding.
Very good.
Looking forward to seeing you
March 1st.
March 1st.
Yep.
And
Mark-
you are Black History, and we celebrate you for the
Thank
impactful
you.
work that you continue to do.
Exactly.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Marcus. We appreciate
Thank
you,
Thank
man.
you so much, Marcus.
Hopefully, I'll see you Wednesday.
All right.
Take care.
Yes, sir. All right, Reese. All right, K-Mac.
All right.
Bye bye.
That was